You're listening to Flip Empire, the show committed to helping real estate entrepreneurs who want to build their empire without sacrificing their life. Your success and freedom starts now with your host, Alex Pardo.
How to raise the most valuable capital to grow your life and business. And it's not what you think. Welcome to episode 686, my friends, on the Flip Empire Show. I appreciate you tuning in here. My name's Alex Pardo. It's going on almost 7 years that I've been hosting this podcast. And I want to talk to you on today's episode about one of the most foundational, critical elements to success, no matter what business you're in, no matter what it is you're striving to achieve in your life, in your business. I mean, this is so crucial. And it is something that I don't believe a lot of people prioritize. So the reason I'm sharing this is because I'm actually, at the time you're listening to this recording, I would have already spoken. So I'm headed to a Storage Insiders retreat with my friend Mike Wagner, and he has invited me to speak to roughly about 100 storage investors, and jumped at the opportunity to give back and share. And the title of my talk is How to Raise the Most Valuable Capital to Grow Your Life and Business. And it's not what you think. So again, at the time that you're listening to this, the talk would have already happened. So look out on social media or maybe on an upcoming podcast episode where I can dive a little bit deeper into this. But I want to take out some snippets as I was preparing for this talk, and I was thinking about the heart of my message. I wanted to open up and share with you some things that I really am hoping you walk away from this podcast episode with a paradigm or a mindset shift. I want to leave you with some tools and strategies so that you can start being more intentional about doing this in your life and in your business. But before I do that, let me tell you a story. And by the way, you might be thinking, how to raise the most valuable capital to grow your life and business. Not what you think. What are you talking? Are you going to share with me how to raise private capital? Like what kind of capital are you talking about? Well, I'm definitely not talking about private capital. I'm talking about something far, far more valuable than that. That if you focus on and you do it with the right heart, everything and anything you're going to want is just going to naturally and organically happen. And that's been my experience. Okay. So I want to start first by telling you a story that I think can really strike at the heart of the message. And within this story, there are several embedded nuggets and lessons, but there's one in particular that resonated with me. So there was this guy that was out on a hike, and he was in the mountains somewhere. It was cold. The mountains were covered with snow, and he's hiking by himself, and he stumbles on this open grass field, right? Tall grass. And he's walking. He's on this journey. And suddenly he falls through a deep, deep, dark hole that was in the ground. This must have been like a 15, 20 foot hole, probably about 5 feet wide. And he falls miraculously. This dude doesn't get hurt. He doesn't break a bone, but he falls so deep into this ditch that there is no possible way he can get out. He tries to scratch and claw and climb. He can't get a grip on the dirt that makes up the walls. And now he's confined to what feels like a little prison cell deep in the earth. Okay. He's got a backpack. He's got some tools, but he doesn't have anything to get himself out of this. About a day passes by. It's getting even colder. He's starting to run low on the little food and water that he has. And he's been crying out for help for the last 24 hours. He's yelling, help, help, help. Just imagine you're in this deep, dark hole, and it feels like these dirt walls are like caving in on you. And the guy's just yelling, and he has no idea how he's going to get out of this hole. And all of a sudden, a priest that's walking along this field hears him, runs up to him, is surprised. What happened? What are you doing down there? Help, get me out of here, the guy yells. And the priest is looking around frantically, trying to help this guy get out of this hole, and can't seem to find any tools to help him. Can't find a rope, can't find a long stick, just doesn't have anything to help him. And so he does the only thing he can think of. He says, my son, I'm on my way to church. I'm going to say a prayer for you, and walks off. And the guy's like, oh man, like I hope he comes back. Like, what am I going to do? Another 48 hours passes. We're 3 days into this, and this guy is in this hole. He's getting desperate. He's low on energy. He feels he's being suffocated by the lack of oxygen down there. Again, feels like the walls are caving in. And he continues to yell. He's not losing hope, but he continues to yell. And a doctor walking on this open field hears him, runs up to him, sees that he's all filled with dirt. He's sweaty, he's tired, he's dirty. And he goes, "What happened? Are you hurt? How can I help you? I'm a doctor." And the guy goes to him, "I've been in here for 3 days. I don't have any more food and water. I need you to help me out of here. I'm going to die." The doctor goes, "Don't worry, I'm a doctor." So he writes him a prescription and he throws it down in there. Now think about this for a second. The guy's been in this dark hole with now no food and water. He's tired. He feels like he's going to die. And this doctor has thrown him a prescription. The doctor walks off. Now the guy's really starting to lose hope. He's getting desperate. He's just really tired, super low on energy. The next day, 4 days since he fell in this deep, dark hole, one of his brothers, not his literal brother, but like a brother from like one of his communities, one of his mastermind communities, it may have even been an ascender, somebody from Ascend, happens to be walking by this open field, sees his brother dying, desperate. What happened? What happened? He tells him, "I need your help. I need your help. Get out of here." Now, the difference with this brother, this connection he had, is that this guy wasn't freaking out. So instead of looking around for a stick or a rope, all of a sudden, without hesitation, he jumps into the hole with this guy. Doesn't get hurt, lands on his feet. The guy that's been in this hole for now 4 days looks at him and says, "What happened? What are you doing? Why'd you jump in? Now we're both going to die." Starts freaking out, just panicking. Very calmly, his friend, his brother, so to speak, looks at him and he says, "I got you. I've been in this same exact hole and I know how to get us out." They get out and that's the end of the story. Now, when I heard this story, it connected with me on so many different levels. But what really jumped out, what really just resonated with me was that it was due to the relationship. There's going to be times in your life where you fall into this deep, dark hole and you have no idea how to get out. There's going to be times when you feel like you're suffocating. Maybe it's negative emotions like frustration, anger, anxiety, hopelessness, desperation. There's going to be times in your business where you don't know how to get out of this hole. Maybe it's a certain amount of debt that feels like it's caving in on you, or you made a decision, you've lost some team members, or there's a lack of deals. There's going to be times when you feel like you're in this hole and you don't have the tools to get yourself out. This is where relationship capital comes in. And that's what this talk is all about. It's all about prioritizing relationships. And if you're lucky, you're going to find yourself in a hole and you would have planted enough seeds and built enough relationships in your life and in your business where you have people that can reach out, grab you and pull you out, or you have people that are willing to jump in with you and show you the way out. And if you're really fortunate, you're going to be in the reverse situation where you're going to hear somebody crying for help and you have an opportunity to run up to them and help them, pull them up. And that's really what this talk is all about. It's about relationship capital, not from the angle of what you can get and extract, but it's more about how you can give and how you can contribute. So I'll talk about this more on upcoming episodes, but really what the talk is centered around is why relationship capital is truly, in my opinion, the most valuable capital there is, how you can start creating and cultivating deep and meaningful relationships, and then the key to raising relationship capital. And it might surprise you, but it's what I just touched on. The key to relationship capital is about being willing to solve people's problems, being willing to help, to lend a helping hand, being willing to share a resource and make a connection or an introduction. It's being willing to give and contribute without the expectation of anything in return. To me, that's been the key to relationships. That's why my most valuable asset is my network, is the relationships I have. And it's why I'm able to pick up the phone and send a text message, and I know I'm going to have an army of people there for me because I've been there for them. And I don't expect them to be there for me, but because it's just the right thing to do, you just build an army of supporters and people that are there to just be with you, whether you're in a time of need or not. So there's so much more that I'm sharing that I shared in this talk, but just really quickly, as I was researching and just, preparing for this talk, there's so many benefits to having healthy relationships, whether they're personal, intimate relationships or business relationships or friendships, whatever the case might be. But I'm talking about everything from better physical health, decreased stress, longer lifespan, practical help, shared experiences, emotional support, opportunities for growth, higher self-esteem, feeling seen and appreciated, better productivity, the encouragement to think bigger and try new things, to be a part of a community and be a part of something bigger, which is why we started Ascend almost 4 years ago. So I want to leave you with a couple thoughts. I want to read to you a quote by the gentle giant, Tony Robbins. He said, some of the biggest challenges in relationships come from the fact that most people enter a relationship in order to get something. They're trying to find someone who's going to make them feel good, when in reality, the only way a relationship will last is if you see the relationship as a place that you go to give and not a place that you go to take. So what I want to leave you with here on this episode is I want to leave you with a KPI that I want to challenge you to start tracking. I want to leave you, and by the way, if you don't know, a KPI is a key performance indicator. It's a metric that you track, right? Similar to ROI. People track the return on an investment. Well, that's simply measuring dollars and cents, right? What I want you to do going forward is track ROR, but there's a twist. So you might ask, what is ROR? ROR is the return on relationship. And the definition is the value accrued by a person or a brand due to nurturing a relationship. ROR is the value, perceived and real, that will accrue over time through loyalty, recommendations, and sharing. It's giving. But here's the twist. I don't want you to track the ROR that you receive. I want you to track the ROR that others receive as a result of your giving and your contribution. So that's what I want to leave you with on today's podcast episode. One other quote I'll leave you with, an African proverb: if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. So hopefully this lands home with you. If you want to go farther together and you want to do it in a community, ascendyoursuccess.com, shameless plug, but it's something that we pour our heart and soul into. So ascendyoursuccess.com if you want to go farther and faster, not alone, but together. And with that being said, thank you for hearing me out. I'll share more about this talk and more about this event on upcoming episodes, and we will talk soon. Have an amazing day. One last thing before you go. If you have been listening to the show for a while and or you have been getting value from the show, I would be 100% honored if you would share this show with a friend, or maybe share it with somebody that you think could benefit from this. It's my mission, it's my cause, it's my purpose through Flip Empire to impact and touch people's lives, to help people and in their businesses. So it would be an honor if you would be willing to share this episode. And one last thing, make sure that you're subscribed so that you get notified every Monday and Thursday when shows get released. I look forward to connecting with you on the next one. Until then, have a great day.